Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.
Nkrumah Roach, and I listen to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Indeed you are, people. Welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. My name is Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. And yes, welcome back. I've got a new one to drop for you, people. Another discussion point, another talking point, as we are probably, at the time of recording, a couple days out from what is likely to be the announcement of the West Indies touring squad. Probably, I'd imagine that the selectors will say it's a squad for both Zimbabwe and South Africa at the same time. If you're new to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast and this is the first time you're ever watching one of our videos, by all means, go back and look at our archive. The last episode we put out was actually looking at who we at the Caribbean Cricket Podcast would select to go on that tour of Zimbabwe and South Africa. And that's caused quite a lot of consternation, big viewership on that particular video. Lots of comments, about 100 comments in the YouTube comments alone, never mind the people who kind of messaged us at Carib Cricket. But before I delve into this particular topic, as usual, let's get through the admin people. At the time of recording, we are on 3,983 subscribers. You do the maths, people. That means we are 17 subscribers away from hitting 4K. And some of you will be like, 4K, is that it? But listen, every little bit helps, man. The journey, the road is a long one. We're not trying to we're not trying to produce miracles overnight, but the next milestone is 4K. So we're nearly there, people. As you can see on the ticker tape below, if you're watching on YouTube, it is the road to 4K. We're nearly there. I've got a special prize to give out once we do reach 4K. For those of you who already don't know, you can follow us at Carib Cricket on Twitter and Instagram. And obviously, if you're watching this video, like, share, and subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast platform of your choice, please do leave a review. All of that stuff helps the algorithms, you know. If there's somebody you know who loves West Indies cricket, let them know about this podcast. Let them know that this is where you get the best analysis on West Indies cricket anywhere around the world, never mind within the region itself. We pride ourselves at the Caribbean Cricket Podcast on getting on all the right people, asking all the right questions, and doing the best analysis that is around. If you'd like to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, you can become a patron. Head to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. We just got one today. Apologies. Literally, this happened in the last 5 minutes before I press record. I think it was a guy called Charlie. If I've got your name right, thank you for becoming a patron. Every little bit helps, people. We don't have a sponsor, I should say. Whenever you watch these videos, you never see a sponsor video at the start. You never see us reading anything out. We do this all independently with no sponsorship, and the only funding we get is what you as patrons support us with. So thank you to anyone who's a patron. I think it's about 47 of you at the moment. So thank you to all of those who contribute. If you don't know already, the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Test Maroon Test Cap is in production. It should be available within the next 2 weeks. Thanks for those who have already put a pre-order in. We only have 21 of them remaining. Head to our website, www.caribbeancricketpodcast.com, to find everything out you need to know about this podcast. Anyways, that's all the admin out of the way, people. Let's get into the actual topic. As I record this, I haven't actually decided what the video title is going to be. So for now, in fact, let's call it, What's the Issue with Nkrumah Bonner? But here's the thing. Nkrumah Bonner doesn't have an issue. When I call it, What's the Issue with Nkrumah Bonner, I more mean, what are West Indian fans' issues with Nkrumah Bonner? Because the last video I did where I looked at who should be the squad to go to Zimbabwe and South Africa, if you, after watching this video, go back and watch that one, if you haven't already watched that or listened to that, and if you have, go back and read the comments under that video, and you'll see that there's loads of comments about, I wouldn't take Bonner. And at first, I wanted to get on bad And I wanted to, because, you know, I always try and reply to every single comment that's sent to one of our videos because it's part of engaging with you, the listeners, you know. And at first I wanted to cuss. I wanted to like just write under each comment that was calling Nkrumah Bonner into question and say, what are you talking about though? What type of cricket fan are you? Do you understand cricket? That's what I wanted to do. But I didn't go there. I gathered my thoughts, and every time a Bonner comment came up, which was disparaging him in some shape or form, I just wrote down a tally. Anyways, when my tally got into like 10 plus comments, I was like, nah, I'm going to have to drop a video on this one because I can't believe what I'm reading. I can't believe that we've reached a point in West Indies cricket where people are legitimately saying, with no sense of, there's no humor in it, there's no sense of like, oh, I'm just kidding you, Mash. They legitimately believe that Nkrumah Bonner shouldn't be in the West Indies test team. And I... Ah, boy. Now, first things first, let's deal with the accusations. False accusations that are going to come my way. Yes, I am from Jamaica. Yes, I was born in Jamaica. Yes, as I record this video, you can see a Jamaica Talawar's top behind me. And yes, Nkrumah Bonner is Jamaican. But my defense of Bonner in this video is nothing to do with any of that. My defense of Bonner is simply based on cold, hard, statistical analysis. But first things first, let's hear the case for the prosecution. The people who want Nkrumah Bonner out of the West Indies test side, what's their reasoning? What's their justification for making such a claim? This is what it boils down to, people. In Nkrumah Bonner's third test series that he played for the West Indies, so this was back in the pandemic years when we were playing in front of no fans, South Africa toured the Caribbean in the summer of 2021, and Bonner got hit. I can't remember if it was Nortje or Ngidi, sorry. And Bonner got hit, got a concussion, and dropped out of, had to like leave the test series due to concussion. And people said at the time Bonner looked uncomfortable against top quality high pace. Is there truth in that assessment? Well, based on that South Africa series, yes, he looked uncomfortable. He did not look like it suited his natural game to play that kind of top quality pace from Nortje and Ngidi, Rabada, etc. Anyways, I think he was 10. I think he got 10 and then, yeah, dropped out of the test match. I think Kieran Powell was a concussion replacement or something like that. In the Australia series, we've just lost just before the turn of the year. In the first test match of that series, Bonner got licked down by, I think it was Cameron Green. And the joke is Cameron Green isn't even the quickest of the Aussie pacers. But Bonner got one in the helmet and he got a concussion again and he had to leave the test match. He was unbeaten on 16 off about 47 balls. He tried to grit through it, but he got another concussion, had to leave the test match and didn't play for the rest of the test series. Now, it seems that the argument for the prosecution is based on those two incidences of concussion in 2021, concussion at the end of 2022, both to pace bowlers. Not everyone, but a lot of people seem to want to kind of peddle the theory that Bonner isn't comfortable against pace. Therefore, Bonner shouldn't be in the test squad to go to both Zimbabwe and South Africa because he's going to get peppered with pace, particularly in South Africa. Like I say, I hear that. Whenever I hear people's arguments, I always listen to it. And the thing with arguments is there'll always be an element of, I don't know if truth is the right word, but there's always an element of justification for people's arguments that I don't agree with. So I understand there is evidence there that I've presented both in the South Africa series in 2021, Australia series at the end of 2022, where it looks like Bonner is susceptible to high quality pace. And we're about to go to South Africa in early February, or late February, I should say, to play a test series. And Bonner may well struggle against high pace again. I get it. But here's why I don't get it. And I'm going to say this slowly for those down the side and out the back. The West Indies test side is in no position to drop in Nkrumah Bonner. None. And there's so many reasons why. I'm just going to give you the top kind of two. In fact, the top three. Let me ask you a lot of question. Of the top 6 batters in the West Indies test side who started the test match against Australia, so that's Craig Brathwaite, Tej Chanderpaul, Nkrumah Bonner, Carl Mayers, Jermaine Blackwood, Jason Holder, and let's throw in Josh De Silva. Let's go down to number 7, even throwing a Roston Chase at number 8. Who's got the best average in that side? Who's got the best test match average in that side? Who is it, people? No cheating. Who's got the best test match average in that side? You've got 5 seconds to write your answer down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the time of the first test match versus Australia, the person with the best test match average in the West Indies side was Nkrumah Bonner. 15 test matches, a test match average of 38. 200s, 350s. 15 test matches, a test match average of 38, 200s, 350s. In his first innings of that first test match, he got hit. He stayed on the field or stayed out there batting before the dizziness and the concussion got him, and he departed the field on 16 not out of 47 balls. We fast forward now to the on the eve of probably the announcement of the squad to go to Zimbabwe and South Africa, and we've legitimately got some people in the region say don't take Nkrumah Bonner, the person with the best average in the side. Can you believe that? Can you believe that some people are actually arguing that? And this is why West Indies cricket is finished. Because if we've got a fan base that can actually look at our test side and pick the... You have to laugh. You've got a fan base that looks at our test side and picks the guy with the best average and says, he's got to go. We're finished. We're finished out here. We've got the most... Maybe the Pakistanis would say they rival us or they've got it better, worse than us. But we are up there with the most irrational fan base in international cricket. Irrational. We're so upset with our fall from grace that people just throw out random nonsense, which has no real grounding behind it. You think any other test side who, if they had the West Indies top 6, 7, 8, would look at the player with the best average and go, yeah, he's the one who's got to hold the drop first. And by the way, what I'm going to say next doesn't mean I want anybody else to be dropped, but just for argument's sake, Carl Mayer's average is 36, Blackwood averages 31, Holder averages 30, De Silva averages 29 or 28, Craig averages 35, and Tej has played 2 test matches, so I don't think we can count Tej just yet. So before people call anybody else's name, they're calling for Bonner to go. They're saying Bonner can't help us. Check this out, people. These are Nkrumah Bonner's test series thus far, since he debuted in Bangladesh in 2021. Bangladesh away, he averaged 58 in the test series, 250s. Sri Lanka at home, he averaged 72, 1 century. South Africa at home, he averaged 10 but got licked down with concussion after 1 innings, so I don't know if we can count that. Pakistan at home, he averaged 11. Sri Lanka away, he averaged 49, 150. England at home, he averaged 44, a century. Bangladesh at home, he averaged 11. And then Australia away, licked down in the first innings, unbeaten on 16. So, if we don't count Australia because he never actually got dismissed and got a concussion, we'll count it in terms of averages, but I don't think we can count it as a full series. And even South Africa at home, I don't know if we can count that as a full series. Thus far in Nkrumah Bonner's career, nascent career, he's failed at home against Pakistan and at home versus Bangladesh. That's it. South Africa, he got a concussion. Australia, he got a concussion. So I don't know if we can really count that as failures in a test series. 15 matches, a test match average of 38. Then I did a bit more of a deep dive into Nkrumah Bonner. And this is why so forget the fact that Nkrumah Bonner was good in Bangladesh and good at home versus Sri Lanka and good at home away to Sri Lanka, and good away to Sri Lanka and good at home versus England. Forget all that for a minute. Forget the test match average of 38. Here's the main reason. Here's the bigger reason why Nkrumah Bonner is absolutely essential to this West Indies test side. Nkrumah Bonner has batted 25 test match innings in his 15 test matches thus far. 36% of those innings, he has faced 100 balls or more. 36% of the 25 test match innings that Nkrumah Bonner has batted, he has batted 100 balls 36% of the time, 100 balls or more. I even broke it down like this. Nkrumah Bonner, in his 25 test match innings, has faced more than 200 balls 5 times. He's faced more than 100 balls 9 times. He's faced more than 50 balls 13 times. So basically, and 50 is nothing special, but there's been a couple of innings where he's like faced 94 balls or 97 balls, right? But basically, when you sum that all up, more than half the time Nkrumah Bonner comes to the crease, you are guaranteed he's sticking around for a minimum of 50 balls. More than a third of the time that Nkrumah Bonner comes to the crease, you are guaranteed he's going to be sticking around for more than 100 balls. Let me help you lot put that in perspective. In the recent test series versus Australia, where Nkrumah Bonner got licked down for a concussion and didn't play for the rest of the test series, only 3 batters in the West Indies side faced more than 200 balls across the 2 test matches, i.e. across 4 test match innings. When you added up all of their innings, only 3 batters in the West Indies side faced more than 200 balls in total. Chase faced 212 in total in 4 test match innings. Tage faced 335 in total across 4 innings, and Craig faced 415. So Craig averaged 100 balls per innings in terms of soaking up the ball, right? Outside of Tage and Craig, who both have a game to soak up the ball, take the shine off the ball, and make hay later, there is only one other batter in our test match lineup that has the ability to soak up balls and occupy the crease and nudge and nurdle and score runs and accumulate. And yeah, it might not look pretty, but the West Indies side, we ain't playing baseball cricket. We don't have the players for baseball. We got the players for what we can do. And right now, at where West Indies Test cricket is at, we need the nudgers and we need the nurdlers and we need the players that put high value on their wicket. Right now, when you look at the West Indies Test side from position number 1 through to position number 8, I think Tage is new to this. I shouldn't even call Tage's name. So let's leave Tage out for a second. From position number 1 through to position number 8, prior to Tage's debut, there were only 2 batters in the top 8 you could guarantee are willing to properly dig in. One is the captain, Craig Brathwaite, and the other is Nkrumah Bonner. So when people wanted to cuss out some of the batting in the Australia series, particularly in the second test, I was sitting there going, now you lot see what happens when Bonner's not about. Because Bonner's mentality is, I'm digging in. I'm here for the fight and I'm here to occupy the crease. That century scored against England in the summer last year came off 335 balls. It's not exciting. It's not pretty. But you know what? It was integral in terms of the test match and making sure West Indies didn't lose. So when people say, when they come in the comments below or they send messages to @CaribCricket and they say stuff like, Bonner's got to come out the side. He's liable to concussion. He can't bring anything to the side. This is why I say that you lot are silly. This is why I'm saying that you're chatting foolishness. Because, yes, he may have got a concussion twice. So that can't be discounted. But in the context of where West Indies cricket is at in the Test Red Bull arena, we cannot afford to drop someone like Nkrumah Bonner. And let me just put this little tidbit to you as I come to an end. If you lot are really coming with this kind of line of argument and you're saying West Indies selectors, Desmond Haynes, Roland Butcher, and whoever else it is that has a say in selection, if it is Andre Coley or not, say you drop Bonner. Who are you bringing into the side that can occupy the crease like Bonner? Who are you bringing into the side that has a pedigree at the domestic level that says that over 1/3 of the time they come to the crease, they're going to bat a minimum of 100 balls? Go study your domestic stats, people, and give me a name. Bring me a name. Bring me the numbers that show that 1/3 of the time that they come to the crease, they're going to face over 100 balls and put a serious price on their wicket. If you can give me that name with the numbers to back it up, then I might listen to you. But bear this in mind. The stats I've just given you for Nkrumah Bonner, 15 test matches, an average of 38, 36% of his test match innings, he's faced 100 balls or more. He's done that at the highest level of the game. So if you want to drop Nkrumah Bonner, who you bring in from domestic cricket that's going to be able to do that at the highest level of the game? My name's Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, and I'm here to say, dead the talk on dropping Nkrumah Bonner. It don't make not one bit of sense. Thank you, and good night.
We rule the cricket world. Now the rules seem coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.